What's going on, folks? We're back. It's Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk. And we getting it going. Right now, I am watching the Phillies just pound all over the Diamondbacks. It is 8-0 right now. Oh, did they drop that? Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they are. Diamondbacks are all out of sorts right now. It's 8-0. One out with a man on first and second. So I'm trying to see who's up. March got on base. But JT's back up. Real Mutual's back up. So, but yeah, we are kicking ass and taking names right now. So, so it was a day of days today. Howie Roseman is back on it again, and we had some news today. We just signed Julio Jones. So we really need a safety right now. Excuse my rubbernecking. Oh, almost got hit. Take a look. It looked like it nicked his elbow. Take a look at it. Looked like it nicked his elbow. So they may have just loaded the bases. But in any case, we'll see what happens. This game's over with anyways. We're in the top of the seventh. Nope. Did not touch him. Did not touch him. So we got Julio Jones today. Now, as far as a receiver, a 34-year-old receiver, I have no idea how much gas he's got left in the tank. None. Don't have a clue. But I would think that he's got enough to be able to catch a ball in the end zone, be a big body in red zone, and not for nothing, pass block, or run block rather. Much bigger body than Quez Watkins and Oz. And that should benefit us in the right situations. Now, one of the things I was just talking about, by the way, check out my boys on A2D Radio, Birds of a Feather. They were still going at it when I had to jump over here. I'm going to start doing this. I got to find a better time, because if I go late, so my people on the West Coast can jump in, if possible. Then the people on the East Coast that say it's too late, because it's a lot of people, with kids and family issues, and that's just too late. So I'm trying to find a good time, a good balance, but we're going to get that squared away. We're still going to do some experimenting. We'll figure out what we can do. But yeah, man, we got Julio. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with him, because I heard Donovan McNabb's comments today, and I didn't necessarily disagree with him. Now, I think he's got his facts mixed up, saying that all of this, the reason why AJ Brown's getting so many touches is because of the blow up on the sideline. And of course, everybody points out that Devontae Smith had more targets. Philly scored again. 9-0. Man on first and third. One out. But Devontae Smith had more targets than A.J. Brown. However, what I do agree with, it looks like A.J. Brown is always number one option. So when Jalen Hurts goes through his progression, it's looking like he's always going to AJ first. And there's some situations where can't say that AJ wasn't open, because AJ the last couple games he's been wrecking shop. AJ Brown has been putting the damn thing down. So it's hard to once again, that's a nitpick. But for the most part, there's been some situations where he's gone to A.J. Brown, and whether or not he made the catch, there were other options available. So it seems like the optics of it is that in some cases he is forcing the ball a little bit. So I don't know. They'll get more into that. There's not really much you can say when AJ Brown has gone for over 100 yards the last 4 games. What are you gonna say? You gonna tell them to stop giving them the ball? Hell no. Feed them till they stop it. But I will say this on those deep routes, the one that AJ eased up on that should have been a touchdown. Those, in my opinion, those routes should be going to Devontae Smith. Period. So um, that is a very small issue, and not nothing that we're too worried about. Turn you off. So, I mean, I get once again we nitpicking. We 5-1, and Jalen Hurts had a bad game, and that's gonna happen. So, ain't really much you gonna do. You look at the best who have ever done it. Nobody's exempt. Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Tom Brady. Name your quarterback. Everybody's gonna have a bad game. No way around that. And this was his bad game. And in spite of all of that, if you look at the game he had, technically, if it wasn't for a couple of drop passes, you get the ball punched out, DeAndre Swift, then Dallas Goedert drops the pass and it falls right into the hands of the defensive player. Kenny Gainwell drops a ball. That was a third and long situation. He catches that ball. The chains keep moving. That would have been the first down. So there were some opportunities to keep some drives moving, and the outcome could have been different. A.J. Brown doesn't quit on that ball. He didn't quit. He just eased up because he didn't think the ball was coming to him. And then by the time he saw it, he tried to speed up, and by then it was too late. So we had some opportunities in spite of how bad we played. So that's the silver lining as far as I see it. So we still got a lot of work to do. We still haven't hit on all cylinders yet. And we just lost our first game. And very similar to the Washington loss from last year, that was self-inflicted wounds. Now, granted, let me put it out there right now. I ain't taking nothing away from the Jets defense because them boys was balling, and I've said that they've been balling all year. If Aaron Rodgers would have stayed healthy, they would have been a problem. They would have been a problem. But Zach Wilson seems like he's coming into his own, and they're starting to. The defense already believe, but the Zach Wilson is starting to play like he got some sense. So having that master in the chair, the master tutor, that's paying dividends for him. And he didn't have particularly a good game. He threw for like 156 yards and a touchdown. But he game managed, didn't have any turnovers, and put them in a situation where they could win the game. The defense won the game, let's be real. Defense won that game. But he didn't lose it, and they can build on that. So so we got some things going on, and we still got some things to clean up. And Brian Johnson, in my opinion, is on the hot seat right now. Not on the hot seat, but everybody's looking at him like, hey, what's going on? We need to figure out what we can do better with this play calling in this red zone, because our red zone offense is still hot garbage right now. Still hot garbage. And I don't know. I'm not crazy about some of the run plays we have because our play action is suspect at best. We have, and I said this earlier. Let me see if I can bring up the stats from that game, just so I can be 100% correct. Philly, New York. I believe DeAndre Swift only had like 30 yards rushing. Not even that. Why did I think he had 30? DeAndre Swift had 10 carries for 18 yards rushing. Good lord. I thought he had at least 30, but he got zilch. Jalen Hurts had 8 for 47. That's at least 5 yards a carry. But yeah, DeAndre Swift had 10 carries for 18 yards, and he still ranked number 5 in the league in rushing. So what that's telling me is like, even with that bad game, that's still the guy you want to get a ball to. So we'll see what they do in the future, especially depending on what the situation is with Lane Johnson. I see my guy Country is in the building. Hold on for a second. There you go. Country, you in? Or you might be away from the mic.
What's going on, Marcus?
What's happening, dude?
Oh man, I was on the phone with my dad and I was telling him, I was like, oh man, I want to make sure I'm on time and stuff. I had sent him a link to the YouTube, so hopefully he's listening.
Okay. I,
Yeah,
I don't see anybody in the chat yet. And the only people, I think the
oh
only
he don't.
people, he's not going to get in the chat, huh?
Yeah, he ain't that big on the computers, not like he used to be, man.
Gotcha. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, man, I was watching your boys yesterday. They had an opportunity to win. They just uh, Herbert looked suspect yesterday. I don't know if this is, the finger on his offhand, but
Hmm.
they could not convert to say they life.
I was actually talking about that, man. It crazy stat was that we had 5 sacks and they only had 1 sack, and the Cowboys did only have 1 sack, man. And
Right.
but they were pressured a lot. Herbert was pressured a lot. He was trying to run out of the pocket or try to get out of the pocket and just
Yep.
get rid of the ball. And I'm gonna be honest, man. On that last drive, I left like I didn't even want to watch the screen because I was like, man, I had a feeling what was gonna happen, and I get tired of watching stuff like that, man. So I said, man, I couldn't even watch it. I said I'll wait till the end and come back. So
Yeah, they were struggling in the red zone, man, struggling mightily, and it was funny because on the broadcast they were talking about how they had pretty much contained Micah Parsons, and no sooner than he said that, than he gets the sack. So I was like, see, you gotta be careful what you wish for. They talked it up, and right on cue, he sacked Herbert the next play. But I mean, at the end of the day, you held the Cowboys to 20 points, and they didn't get that last touchdown until time was running out.
exactly.
But
We actually They actually beat us on about every stat line except I think just the turnover and the penalties. I think they had more penalties than one turnover and a sacks allowed, but everything else was pretty much they won all total yards, passing, rushing, and yards per play.
right, but I mean,
Yep.
even with you take that you take that one Dak Prescott touchdown away, where he ran for like what, maybe 20 yards, I think it was. I mean, y'all defense did a good job containing everybody. I know Pollard had that. I can't remember if it was a run or if it was like a screen pass, but I know he had that one play where it had to be a screen pass because he had six. That
Yeah, Mike Davis missed it. Michael Davis missed it. He grabbed him, had him going down, and let go, and he
Yeah, he spun
scampered
out
off
of
and
it.
went.
Yep.
Nobody else was coming towards him. Like
Nope.
everybody that was running to the ball, they once they seen Michael Davis had his hands on him, they all like
They thought
backed
he was
off.
gonna make the tackle. Yep.
Exactly.
You gotta finish. When I see plays like that, the first thing I think of is like, see, y'all need to be hitting in training camp. That's the first thing I think of, because that type of stuff is little like fundamental stuff. Because if back when I was in camp, if something like that would have happened in camp, they would have stopped camp. They'd have chewed and cussed folks out, made us start the period over again. Like they wasn't playing that. You had to get the people down to the ground, and they don't do that no more. So I saw Pollard spin out, and he just kept on running. So I was like, good grief. And it was like all them DBs come up trying to make business decisions. Like, you better get that man down and stop hitting him in the damn shoulders and take them legs out.
Exactly. one thing I was gonna say about the tackle thing was one key stat I think somebody was talking about. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. They were talking about the Super Bowl teams, or teams that make it to the Super Bowl are like ranked higher on the level of least amount of break tackles or missed tackles, and that teams that have the highest missed tackles or broken tackles are the teams that don't make it to the Super Bowl or
Right.
don't ever win. So that's during the regular season. So that's something
Getting them.
that I hopefully we're not ranked high on. That I was trying to find out if we were or not, but
That sounds like one of them stats you got to look at next gen stats or something. But
mm-hmm.
I mean that makes sense if you're not tackling, and I see that more and more. Guys come in like I saw that a lot when I watched the San Francisco game when they played the Browns back when CMC before he got hurt. A lot of people come up to try to tackle high now. Like nobody goes from waist down, which is something that we would teach our kids in little league. You know, to put your head right underneath the watch the hips and try to put your head right on the side of the hip, one side or the other. And but never, see what you hit. But everybody drops their head and they come in super high. Because I remember last year um, when we played at Dallas, C.J. Gardner Johnson had a sack on Dak Prescott, and C.J. Gardner Johnson is not a big guy, and he came in high on Dak and hit him square, but just he didn't bring no ass with it, and Dak pretty much shrugged him off, and he missed the sack. That should have been a strip sack, but he couldn't get Dak down. And I was like, and that was the play before they had that like 3rd and 30 that they converted. And even last year and into this year, I'm seeing a lot of guys, especially defensive backs and safeties, they come up, they either hit too high or they go ultra super low trying to take out their ankles, but they lower their heads so they don't see what they hitting. Marcus Epps tried to do that last year against McCaffrey, and McCaffrey just bounced off of him and kept it moving and ended up scoring. So it's a lot of technique that's messed up these days in the league right now. And I said it last year and I said the same thing this year. The teams that get their tackling and stuff together now, they are the ones that jump out to the front. And then you look at who's out front. San Francisco and Detroit. Both playing physical ball. Everybody else is playing catch up. Right now, if I were to rank the teams, right now I would rank. I would still probably put San Francisco number 1. I would put. Now you know what? No, I would put Miami number 1, San Francisco 2, Detroit 3, and we will be 4. So, and these teams, what Miami's doing right now is just ridiculous. Those dudes are that's a track meet right there. That's not even funny. And
it's
that's
not a lot of teams that can keep up with scoring with them. And I
nah.
think that's the only thing that really, I mean, their defense does a little bit, but if they outscore people, it's going to be hard for them to lose games. I mean, teams are going to have to really. It's,
Uh-oh. Think I'm losing your signal. You still there?
oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Oh yeah, you trailed off. I think the signal
Oh, it
went
was
down.
going out.
Yeah.
It was.
You on the road?
Oh, yeah, I was saying about the offense that, yeah, 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 yeah. Work, man.
Got you. But
But
yeah,
no, I was saying about the Dolphins' offense. I mean, they're high powered. They got a lot of receivers. You know, their running backs are good. I know Devin A Chain, or how do you pronounce his name?
yeah,
He was hurt for this past game, but
he
I don't think
nasty.
nobody really was worried about. Yeah, he's really good, and I just even Raheem Mostert did pretty well against the Panthers. So I mean, they got a tough offense, man. Like if they keep scoring these 40 points and 38 points every, kind of almost every game.
Yep,
Only the Bills really are the only ones that really shut them down to 20 points.
yep.
So
So you know what tape we'll be watching this week? You already
But
know.
it's
So
gonna be a lot of good games.
that'll be this is gonna be Deshaun Desai's biggest test. And I'm worried because just looking at everything, I got to look at some more tape to see how their defense is looking right now. And even if we do have the advantage over their defense, our offense is not running efficiently yet. So if there was ever a time to wake up, it's this week because we get the only person that can really run, in my opinion, with Tyreek Hill is Slay, and he's hurt. So I don't know if he's coming back this week. We'll find out tomorrow if he practices. So, but there's nobody else in our secondary that can run with Tyreek Hill. Slay is the only person that I've seen run with him legit. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I saw it last year in camp when we did the joint practice with Miami. And matter of fact, it was the play that Slay got hurt. He was running stride for stride with Tyreek Hill, and their feet got tangled up. And he kind of buckled his knee a little bit, and then he stayed out for the rest of practice. He came back the next day, but he was step for step. Then I had to go back and look at his like 40 times when he was with Detroit. I didn't realize that, Slay was a low 4.3 guy. So Slay has some good speed, and I believe Slay is like 6 foot, 6'1". So he's a bigger guy to be able to move that fast and hang with Tyreek Hill. That was impressive. Now he's hurt. Reed Blankenship is not that fast. Bradbury definitely is not that fast. Now we just signed Josiah Scott back. I used to call it the Josiah Scott experience last year because he was they were targeting him last year because he was just inexperienced. Now he got better towards the end of the year, but in the beginning when they had to put him in there, it wasn't pretty. But we just signed him. We just signed him and Julio Jones today. So I know if he has to play, they're going to pick on him just like they was picking on Josh Jobe. And we got to get somebody's ready. They was even talking about putting Keely Ringo in. And I was like, Keely Ringo is not ready. Not at all. But if it's a situation where we got to do what we got to do, he just going to have to get his lumps. he going to learn today. But
you think y'all pick up another corner?
I think we will. I don't know if we'll do it this week, but I think before the deadline on the 31st, I think Howie's going to try to put something together. Because when
Desmond King is available.
Chin, King, there's a couple names out there that everybody up here, everybody's still hoping that we'll find a way to get Budda Baker.
Oh, okay.
So, and Chin, his name has been floating around a lot too. And when I say float around, I just mean the Philadelphia fans would love to see him here. Him or Budda Baker. Chin or Budda Baker. So I got complete faith in Howie Roseman. I call Howie the Wizard of Philadelphia. He can do no wrong in my eyes. So his record, since he's been making these moves the year before we won the Super Bowl, he's been hitting it out of the park. So I don't see no reason to doubt what he's going to do. I think he'll eventually get somebody in here because we don't have a choice. Our ranks are so thin in the secondary, it's not even funny. So he has to make a move. It's just all about getting the right person. So
man, I've been talking about I want Jeremy Chin for the Chargers, but I don't think we'll do anything. Tom Telesco ain't really too big on the market for doing anything major. I mean, they were surprised when he got J.C. Jackson, and the crazy thing was I wanted Stephon Gilmore. And Gilmore is the one that got that pick at the end of the game. So that kind of had me just even more like, man, I wish we would have got him instead of JC.
Yeah.
We let JC Jackson go.
And it's also, you got to remember, unless it's a trade, what are you getting back for it? We're in a good situation because everybody's looking at Philadelphia like a playoff team. So just like Julio Jones, he chasing the ring too. I think A.J. Brown may have helped in that decision just a little bit because he was Julio Jones was the vet when A.J. Brown got there. But whenever you're talking about all of these teams looking for, trade bait and stuff like that, as the 31st approaches, you got to have money to play with, and a lot of these teams don't have much to offer. So we're in the, I won't say we're in the driver's seat, but we got a lot of pieces, a lot of chips on the board where we can entice some people to make some trades. So we'll see what happens. I'm confident that Howie's going to do something, and he's going to get another either defensive back or another safety in here, because Terrell Edmonds, I don't think he's going to cut it. He's somebody that can get in there and play and hold his own for the most part, but after seeing what I've seen from him this year, I understand why the Steelers let him walk. So, and maybe he can get better. We'll see. Just as like the same thing I said with the whole Josiah Scott thing. Josiah Scott was god awful in the beginning, but by the end of the year, he looked a lot better. So let's hope that continues when they put him in, because he's gonna get some snaps. Because we are hurting in our secondary right now. We got one safety, and he's a rookie. And it looks like Sidney Brown is going to start this week. Now, I'm excited to see what Sidney Brown can do, but he's a rookie. So if I'm an offense and I see him in there, I'm going at him. So we'll see what Miami does, and McDaniels is good at shifting, putting guys in motion, and just confusing the defense, especially the defensive secondary, if you got young guys in there. So this is going to be a game to watch. So we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's, and I'm not sure if the Eagles' secondary is ready for what's coming. So we'll see what happens, or what's going to happen.
I didn't even notice y'all. I mean, y'all stat line basically y'all. Oh well, the time of possession was about even. It's just really the turnovers. Really, I mean, y'all didn't really have the turnovers. I mean, y'all definitely would have. I mean, y'all even won with the penalties too. Y'all had less penalties as well. I don't know
Yep.
if they were all key penalties, but I mean, y'all.
Nothing crazy. It was, I can't even remember. I think we had a couple defensive holding penalties and offensive pass interference, stuff like that. Nothing stupid, but to your point, it was. Uh-oh.
Well, they won by 9 rushing yards. Jets had 89. Y'all had 80. I know Swift didn't. I think Swift had 9 carries or something. Like, he didn't really have.
Yeah, he had 10 carries for 18 yards. It was 3 plays. It was 3 plays that kill us, and I'm not even talking about. Jalen Hurts only really threw 1 interception, and that was the one towards the end of the game where they almost got the pick 6 towards the end, and that pretty much sealed it. But the other pick was we had just replaced Lane Johnson with Jack Driscoll. Now, if you look at our record when Lane Johnson does not play is horrible. Like, outside of Philadelphia, I don't think most people realize how important he is on this team. Our record, let me look that up. I know that's in there because I know I've seen it like 3 times a day. Eagles record without Lane Johnson. It is not good. Our record without Lane Johnson is 13-22 when he's not starting or he didn't play. So when they brought in Jack Driscoll, one of the plays, he just got beat on the edge, and the dude hit Jalen's arm while he was throwing. The ball floats up in the air. That was a pick. The one before that, he throws a screen play to Dallas Goedert. That bounces off Dallas Goedert and right in the hands of the defensive tackle. So there's pick number 2. Then you had DeAndre Swift's fumble. Then you had A.J. Brown's drop. Then you had Devontae Smith's drop. Then you had Kenny Gainwell's drop. And all three of those, A.J. Brown would have been a touchdown. Devontae Smith would have kept the chains moving. And Kenny Gainwell would have kept the chains moving. So those three catches, minus the turnovers, would have been a different ball game for the Eagles. So in spite of the bad play that we had, it was still a winnable game for us. And that's the silver lining in all of this stuff. As bad as we played, as bad as Jalen Hurts was, we were still in an opportunity to win. We just couldn't take advantage of it.
I thought I had y'all winning that game. Like I was like, I didn't think that the Jets really had a chance. People again trying to get high off of the
I'm with you
Zach
100%.
Wilson. Yeah, I'm not. I'm still not high on Zach Wilson. I mean, the Jets do have a good defense, but I think was in Sauce Gardner and I think their corners were out right for
Yep.
that game. I think they were.
Yep.
Yeah, so
They
I
were
didn't
missing.
imagine.
They were missing a lot of players.
Yeah,
They were missing a lot, and that's the kind of the argument that's been going on this week because the Jets were ranked 29th in run defense, and we had 50 dropbacks. Jalen was 45 for 28 for 45 or something like that. Yeah, 28 completions out of 45 attempts for 280 yards, one touchdown, and three picks. So the logic is, why are we throwing the ball so much against the 29th ranked run defense? That's my issue. Now,
Does Hurts usually have over? Maybe I wouldn't even say over what, maybe 38 passes a game
no,
on average. I would. Yeah, that's what I
no.
was.
This is something that I watched last year because a lot of people weren't convinced um, about his passing accuracy. And one of the things was the games where he threw for more than 25 pass attempts, he would most likely have turnovers. Now, this has got to be 45 attempts, has got to be the most attempts he's had in a game in his career, I think. Now, you talk about that's probably about 52 to 55 dropbacks because you figure there was how many plays did he scramble out? So let's say if he scrambled out on 5 to 7 plays, that's 52 dropbacks. And that's way too much. And also, for whatever reason, our run offense, I don't understand why it's like the only thing they want to do is go tackle to tackle all the time. They never try to get DeAndre Swift outside, and I don't understand that. Somebody with his speed, all you got to do is get a formation going, put somebody in motion so you can get that defensive back out there and run a quick pitch left or right, put him out there with a blocker, and let him do what running backs do. But for whatever reason, they don't pitch him to the outside often, and they don't screen to him. Our screen game is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And that would help out the tackle issues we're having if Lane Johnson's not going to come back. Our running back should either be a hot route or a screen route. Because if somebody's coming free, we need a way to dump the ball quickly in space so the running back can do what he got to do. And for whatever reason, they don't want to add that. I know they got to have it in their playbook somewhere. You got to find it and put it in,
Crazy.
put it in use, put it in motion.
That's crazy. You say that. I was thinking about how the Chargers don't. Again, the only game I've seen where we actually do a lot of screens and a lot of like quick plays and like wide receiver screen, running back screens, a lot of like run plays to the outside was the Viking game.
Yep.
And I haven't seen us really do that anymore. Like Herbert was like 40 for 47 on passing that game. Like um, he had a really great game, and it seems like they kind of got away from that, and they kept trying to run the ball up the middle with Eckler, which I just to me doesn't really make sense. But I don't know. It just threw me off.
They were I noticed that they were throwing the ball to Eckler, like a lot of, you know, where the running backs run, they'll run a wide route or they'll run a flat. So basically, you're getting the ball. What's up, Cody K? I see you in there. They'll get the running back the ball like a yard deep or on the line of scrimmage, and basically he got to make somebody miss to make anything happen. So he wasn't getting the ball in space where he could really do anything. So and it seems like every team, every team has got that running back wide, or they don't even run him on the wheel routes. You know, he got moves, put him out in space and get him the ball, man. Anytime you got to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage and your running back's got to beat two people, that's not a high percentage play. But everybody does the same thing. The logic is by you throwing the ball out there like on a quick screen like that, that's the same as a pitch play or running your running back outside, because the goal is to get him the ball when he's already outside and to make somebody miss. But he's already outnumbered right off the bat. Even if you got a lead blocker, that's still 2-on-1 because he can't block for himself. So the odds and stuff like that is not good, but everybody runs it.
Our last game, Darius Davis, he got like a 40-yard run, and we didn't even use him. I don't even think once, other than special teams for like punt return, kick return. But offensively, we didn't use him. QJ Quentin Johnston, our number one draft pick, he didn't even have a reception, and he had like 2 or 3 targets, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, and those are our I guess, basically that's our 2 fastest players on our team, other than Jalen Guyton, who's out right now on injury. So I really don't, to me, it doesn't really make any sense. But
we were talking the same thing, man. It all comes down to the scheme and the packages that your offensive coordinator is going to run. Because every time the packages are most important, because your packages is, are you running a 22? Are you running a 31 set? You got 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, no tight end, 1 running back, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends. There's a bunch of different sets and packages, and the packages will determine who's in there. So all of that type of stuff is on the coordinator. But if they got it in their mind that they want to do a certain thing or have a particular strategy for a defense, them guys might not get no snaps at all. So that's a coordinator thing, trying to keep it balanced, because they're not going into a situation where it's like, I got to make sure I play this guy. That's the criticism that's been going on over here in Philly, is Jalen Hurts been targeting A.J. Brown too much and not, distributing the ball as good as he did last year. And it's like, are we really nitpicking? Because A.J. Brown has balled the last 4 weeks. What are you going to say to him? He's only had 4 straight 100-yard games. That has never been done by, I guess, the Eagle in history or whatever. Like, so what are you gonna say to him? He balling. But we do need to spread it out just a little bit, because that is going to come into play later on down the line. And we about to go through a murderer's row. We got let me see.
I know y'all play the Niners in a couple weeks. I know that's gonna be
We got, this is our schedule coming up. So Miami's coming to town this week. Then we go to Washington. Washington's always a tough game for us. Then we got Dallas at home. Then we had the bye week. Then we got to go to KC. Buffalo comes here. San Francisco comes here. Then we go to Dallas. Then we go to Seattle. So we got Miami, Washington, Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas, and Seattle. And then we go to the last three games is New York Giants, Arizona Cardinals, New York Giants. But we about to hit a murderer's row starting this week. So the next 5, 6 games is really going to determine what kind of team we got. And if we can overcome all these damn injuries we got. Because we getting killed with these injuries.
Yeah, I know the injury bug. The Chargers always deal with that. I know last year we dealt with it a lot. This year we ain't been as bad, but we're missing our All-Pro center Corey Linsley with a heart problem, so
Man.
that's not good. And I mean, we got. I'm trying to think. I mean, y'all got a tough schedule coming up. I mean, we play the Chiefs, which is Super Bowl. The Super Bowl still still hold the title till the end of this year. I guess you want to say.
You
I
fading out
think we
again.
go. Is it Green Bay? Huh?
I said you started fading out again. you must
Oh,
be
my bad. My
you,
bad.
you must be going through like crazy air. Are you driving?
Yeah, yeah. I'm on the road.
Yeah, because you must be going through like different places where the cell service like craps out on you or something. Because it sounds
Yeah,
like you
it
fade
could
out
be.
and then you come back in.
Yeah, I'm starting to get closer to the country. That's what it possibly probably was.
Yeah.
These a lot of farm areas. But what I was gonna say was we played the Chiefs and then um, the Bears and I think what was after that. I know we played Green Bay. I know we got the Lions. I know we got Bills at Christmas time.
Lions are tough, man.
Uh, I know, man. I'm like, man,
Lions are no
that's.
joke.
Let's see, we played the Jets. The what else do we play? We played the Patriots, the Ravens, and then we got Broncos. And then I think after Broncos we play somebody else, and then I can't remember. I think it's like Broncos, then Ravens, and then Broncos, and then we played Chiefs for the last game of the season. So we
Gotcha.
got a couple of tough games, and then a couple of games we should win. But I get a little worried when it's a we should kind of win game because it seems like we fall off on those games sometimes.
Yeah, and that's when the last 4 or 5 games of the year, the teams that are the healthiest are the ones that really make the run for the playoffs. So um, I'm hoping we've only had one clean game this year where we didn't have. I call a clean game was like where you don't have no major injuries. We've only had one game like that. Every other game we've lost somebody, and it's like I think it was when we played the Rams, we didn't have anybody dinged up, nothing crazy. And then of course this week, then we lose Lane Johnson, and then Slay went down. They didn't play, and it's just I think the law of averages just catching up with us because we had such a good year in regards to injuries last year, and I think it's just catching up with us. Ain't nothing you can do about that. So
That's why I was hoping we kind of stay at the 500 area until about halfway through the season, so that way we'll take a couple losses and then hopefully end up towards the end of the season coming out strong and healthy. Completely healthy. I don't know what's up with Corey Linsley. I just know he has some kind of heart issue or something. So I'm
yeah,
a little worried about that because that's something inside and something that could be maybe keep him out. So and that's a star All Pro center and he's basically helped Herbert through the years, kind of understanding the protection and kind of teaching and coaching these young guys on our O line. Because I mean, Slater, this is his third year. He didn't play all of last year basically, and we got Sawyer and the other guard,
right.
and and they're all young, so it's a big difference. And I
Oh,
think that was one key component to this last game, not having them.
I think we're done. Um, yep. Phillies win 10-0. We kicked ass today. Man, these
I think
boys.
the Phillies going to the World Series, man.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win it this year because the pitching is much better this year. The bullpen is much better, and these jokers, they bats are hot right now. Kyle Schwarber hit 2 home runs today. Nick Castellano hit uh, 2 home runs last game, and then he hit two home runs. He's the first player in MLB history to hit back to back multi homer games. They off the charts right now, dude. They off the charts. So I'm hoping they can keep this
Uh,
momentum going because this happened last year. Uh, they went to the World Series. We ended up losing to Houston, but like just that momentum, where you talking about the Phillies and then you go across the street, and then you talking about the Eagles, and then you go back across the street because the Phillies in the NLCS and they just feed off each other, man. It's a good time to be in Philly right now.
Definitely.
So
I think I don't see them losing to the Diamondbacks just because the Diamondbacks kind of like they were kind of hot early in the season and then they kind of like were kind of normal or regular throughout the end of the season and
yeah,
they kind of shocked everybody, kind of sweeping and doing what they're doing now. But I think that that energy and that little power that they have for the beginning of the you know MLB series, I just don't see them. I didn't see them really going nowhere, especially
now
not even making it to the World Series. So I think their hopes are kind of caught
we
up with them, and they're
we
gonna
just got a
be
better team though too. So
yeah. So
so they our bats are on fire right now, and they can't mess with that. Can't nobody mess with us if we keep this. As long as our bullpen keeps doing what they supposed to do, we in good shape. I don't see anybody stopping us to get to the World Series and win it. But that's why you play the game. We shouldn't have lost to the Jets either, but you see how that worked. So, but all right, man, I'm about to get up off here, man.
well, it was nice talking to you, Marcus, man.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, many blessings to you, man, family, and thanks for having me on, like always, man. And shout out to all the fans out there on the football world, to the basketball world, the baseball world, man.
You got it, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
All right, that's my boy Cali Country. He is a truck driver out in the California area. He always jumps on with me, so it's always good to talk to him. Phillies just got it done. Schwarber had a day today. We are at that time of year. The Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers just started. The Flyers had their first home game. Matter of fact, how did the Flyers end up today? Um, let's see what ESPN says. Flyers, Flyers, Flyers. How do we do? How do we do? How do we do? 10-0. We whipped up on them 10-0. Um, Philadelphia, we won. We beat Vancouver 2-0. So that's a good start. Glad to hear it. Good time to be in Philadelphia right now. Oh, hold on. I just see some news. I don't know when this came across. This came across this afternoon. Sources: Christian McCaffrey avoids serious injury and could play on Monday Night Football. Running back Christian McCaffrey avoided long-term injury and has a chance to play Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings. He suffered an oblique rib injury against Cleveland. Left tackle Trent Williams and wide receiver Deebo Samuels also have a chance to play in Monday's game, sources said. The 49ers will make the determination on who can and can't play over the course of next week. Okay, so in other words, they don't know really. They just saying that. Um, really, with all of them, they haven't really told me anything. So we'll see tomorrow who's at practice and who's not. Who is limited practice? Who is did not practice? That sort of thing. They got to disclose that information to the press by the end of the day, by the end of practice anyway. So I'll be checking out the guys in San Francisco to see what's what. But yeah, them injuries, man. Whoever is the healthiest team towards the end of the game, that's where it's at. Those are the guys that make the long run in the playoffs. So, and I tell you what, We getting hit with all the injuries right now. Good Lord. We've had one clean game, and so that's 5 out of 6 games we've had injuries. We've lost somebody, and that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But we'll keep it moving. So I'm going to get out of here as usual. Please hit subscribe. Click on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And if you don't mind, go to my YouTube channel, click on playlists, and click that top 10 playlist and play all. Let it play. Go get yourself something to eat, something to drink. It'll be rolling when you get back. We got to get them watch hours up. You know how I do. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. on A2D Radio for my show, Pro Fan Talk. I'll be on the mothership. Hope to see you guys there, and I will holler at you later.